What's going on, guys? Tim and Jesse from Defense Mechanisms, and today we're going to go over our Mission Essential Plate Carrier. Tim, why don't you walk us through kind of the design intent and how we came up with what we have here?
Yeah, when we sat down and wrote our wish list up of all the things we wanted in a plate carrier, we kind of started with minimalism, right? What we don't want is a big carrier with a million different things hanging off the side. We wanted something minimalist, so we really started with a clean, slick carrier. And you can see that we went in and we added just a couple key essential features, right? Mission Essential Plate Carrier. We added a couple essential features on top of a slick carrier. So if we, in the rear, to our just slick rear, we added a drag handle. We think it's really important that we have a real purpose-built drag handle versus just relying on shoulder straps. It's reinforced, and what you'll see is in heart of our minimalism, keeping that in mind, is it fits real close to the back. Even on a loaded carrier, you can see it's real streamlined. If you chose to run this carrier slick and you wanted to conceal it, this drag handle wouldn't ruin that for you, while still giving you the ability to have that purpose-built feature. We have just a Velcro field in the back for name ID. You can see we run large name tapes on our carriers. But underneath that, what we were finding with those large name tapes made it really hard to attach any kind of PID lights for any kind of low light or shoot house work. And so we added this row of MOLLE with, it's a webbing backed Velcro, so we have a MOLLE row here that we can attach V lights or any kind of Velcro light, while also having the ability to run chem lights through the MOLLE. With a little bit of shock cord or PTT holder, you can run a light in there. And so it just increases a little bit of functionality without really adding a whole bunch of extra bulk or unnecessary, feature set. It just gives us a little bit more functionality. We also went ahead and captured the rear Velcro. When you attach your cummerbund to the Velcro, we have this cover for it, which does a couple things. It keeps the whole thing low profile, and it helps that Velcro from peeling up. In the rear of the cummerbund, there's no chance of this cummerbund peeling up from the rear because it's captured. Some carriers run an uncaptured back. It's a little more minimalist, but there's a chance of that cummerbund peeling up from the side. And some carriers have tie-in, lace-in style cummerbunds, and those create like a really bulky attachment in the back. And so we wanted to keep it light and thin and minimalist so it could be concealed if necessary, while also adding some security to the cummerbund attachment. In the front of the carrier, you'll see again, in keeping with kind of the slick origins, our starting point, we added these split bar QASM attachments, so these can be removed. You can run it with any GTSR latched placards, or some other companies have fast attach or swift clip. Basically, buckled placards all attached to these QASM buckles. They ride up and down. You can adjust the height based on your particular placard system. These also can be removed, so you can use this plate carrier with our G-hook placard system. It allows ride height adjustments. There's a couple sewn in spots there. We're also giving you a MOLLE Velcro field at the top for any patches, but also if you have to MOLLE on nav boards, you have juggernaut case, anything like that you need to put on here. It gives you attachments to do that. You don't have to buy some aftermarket conversion for your carrier, as we see for a lot of carriers right now. There's a lot of aftermarket pieces that people are getting to add on, so they can add those pieces. With us, it's already from the jump. We also add a nice admin pocket. This is really handy for a small notebook, right in the rain, something like that. If you're keeping notes on what you're working on or what you're doing, if you're keeping range data, whatever you need to keep in there, I use it for a notebook. Your imagination can run wild. But realistically, we wanted to keep the feature set to a minimum on this carrier, while at the same time maximizing the essential features that we did put in. A couple things that you can't see, but note on the inside, we have a really deep flap to give you really full coverage of that plate, so Velcro's not sticking out the bottom. And there is also a ride height adjustment strap inside. So if you do run a size small plates, if you have a medium carrier but you run small, or if you have a large carrier but you run medium plates, it gives you the option to adjust that ride height for the plate so you can keep things secure. Or if your plates are slightly off standard size or whatever you need, that ride height strap just keeps it snugged up and tight in there, right at the top of the carrier where you need it.
Yeah. So, like Tim mentioned, you've got your admin pocket here, right? With most of them, you're going to find that they're Velcroed down. Once you have a plate in there, it gets very hard to actually put anything in that pocket. So we removed the Velcro from inside. So again, with that zippered admin, you can just unzip it, put whatever you need in there when the plate's actually in the bag. What you'll notice with the shoulder straps is again tons of adjustment here, front and rear, and then these straps actually hide into the rear of the plate bag. A little bit thicker, right? We actually used a Cordura, so a nice soft material that allows when, again, it rides on the nape of your neck, it doesn't scratch up your neck. There's enough, distance in that actual nape to make it comfortable for actually bearing that load of weight throughout the day, right? With a lot of carriers, what you see is either it rides in too close to where it chafes your neck all day, or they ride out too far where it holds that weight too far on the shoulders, and it's going to give you, hot spots and sore back problems. We found kind of that perfect balance where, again, you're getting some articulation in that shoulder, still nice and low profile to where it's not going to put a buckle or something in the way of getting that good rifle stock placement, but it does allow for a little bit of padding with the 3D mesh, a little bit of comfort, and tons of adjustability. Like Tim was saying, it's just going to come front and rear bag. You will have to buy the Cummerbund separate, and that's because we offer quite a few different Cummerbund options for this. So it's going to be available in 2 different sizes, the Cummerbund as of right now, and that's basically going to be a 3 and a 5 inch. Basically that's 3 rows of MOLLE or 2 rows of MOLLE, as in here. And that's going to come in a couple of different styles. So the first style that you'll see here, as well as on this carrier, is our QD style. What this does is a nice QD buckle that makes for, we use a split Velcro in front and rear, tons of adjustment. Again, as we start to layer up in the winter, we can move that out if we're switching carriers between people on shifts. Again, easy adjustment, front and rear. We don't have to go through, like you said, with some sort of shock cord system or little fingers to adjust it. It takes a lot of time. This is very easy. And then if we can choose the direction that we want the actual QD to happen. So if we want it down, as this is now, right, I just simply give it a pull down to take the carrier off. To dawn it back on, I simply just throw these through and push it up into play, locks into place there. If I wanted those to go the opposite way, where I wanted to pull up to do it, I would just then flip the whole system. We also offer a Velcro version, right? What you'll notice different of our Velcro version, everything's cut to kind of these triangles, right? These pizza slice triangles. And what that allows is that as we're donning the carrier, we don't have to have it exactly in the square. Well, you'll see a lot of people run that 5-inch square right across, and then I've got to put it exactly to this. If I have to don this in a hurry, especially, now I can just simply throw it in, throw it on, and they can overlap like this in any of the directions. It's just going to fit a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer. And then we have 2 versions of the 3 and the 5 inch. So you get to choose either, again, 3 rows of MOLLE or 2 QD option or Velcro option, and then you can also choose hybrid or non. And what the hybrid does is it just adds a little bit of elastic to the rear. That gives you a little bit of stretch as you're out there moving around, hitting those less than advantageous positions, right? Allows that carrier to move, articulate a little bit with you. However, we realize that the elastic then is going to be the highest wear point on that Cummerbund, and offer a version that just eliminates that elastic, right? So it gives you a couple more slots of MOLLE throughout, and then you don't have to deal with that stretch back there. So that's kind of the options for Cummerbund now. The other thing is cable management, right? So if you're running hydration tubes, or you're using some sort of communication device, right? You're going to want to route those cables, and we've come up with our comm sleeves here, just a simple tweave that goes over, allows nice low profile, a little bit of padding, but makes it super easy to shove any of your comms cables, hydration tubes right up under there, keeps them out of the way. So that's kind of the rundown on the Mission Essential Plate Carrier. Like Tim said, just a very low profile carrier that we wanted to be modular, add to it what you needed for your mission, and be able to change that out as it goes. Again, we understand that guys are wearing this all day long. We wanted it to have that all day comfort, but then not have to fight around the gear as we're working with it. So that is the rundown on the Mission Essential Plate Carrier. If you guys have any questions on this or any of our products, head over to our contacts page at www.defensemechanisms.com. We'll be happy to answer those. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.